Okay, last review. Let's check it out. So, I have to graph this parabola. I know it's a parabola. So, I'll start with the easy stuff. My y-intercept is definitely -8, so I have a point at 0, -8. To do my line of symmetry, I need my negative b over 2a. So, I went at negative 2 over 2 times 1, which is 1. So, I've got a line of symmetry of 1. The vertex lies upon that, so I have 1 something. I plug the 1 into the equation. I got -9. So my vertex is at 1, -9. My x-intercepts, I just set it equals 0 and factored. And so I got 4 and -2 because I factored it. And then I just drew in my parabola, okay? Number 2, to get the equation of this parabola, what I did is I went to vertex form. H and K, H is -3 and K is 3. So I plugged those in as H. So I got positive 3 squared, and K, I know that the value of A is 1 because it's the standard parabola, okay? 13, here's our equation. We set our height at 20 feet, 64 feet per second is my initial velocity. The time would be using the vertex, the line of symmetry, negative b over 2a, which gives me 2. So 2 seconds is when it's at its highest height. I plug the 2 into my equation, and I ended up getting 84 feet for the highest height, okay? On the back side, if I want roots, it's like really 0, same thing. Roots and zeros, same thing. So I set it equal to 0 and factored. I common factored of 5x, so I got an answer of 0 and 3 when I did my mini equations, okay? 5, I factored x squared, -9, positive 1 makes the -8x squared. When I solved x squared minus 9, square root, I get plus or minus 3. When I solve the x squared minus 1, I get a -1. Square root of -1 is I, so I get plus or minus I. 6 zeros, I have to do it by grouping. So I took out an x squared, took out a -9, so I have an x plus 3, x plus 3. So they both have an x plus 3 in common. And so then I can solve them and get -3. And then this one, I add 9 and square root, I get plus or minus 3. Okay? 7, if these are the zeros, I can rewrite it as x plus 4, x minus 1, and x plus 1, which basically is x times x plus 4 times x minus 1. Well, if a is positive, then my graph looks like this. And behavior I will ask on the test. So you know as x goes to infinity, y goes to infinity. As x goes to negative infinity, y goes to negative infinity. Okay? Pause it anytime you think I'm going too fast. That's fine. This is number 8, correct? No, that's 9. I guess I forgot 8. Oh well, life goes on. So when I subtract, I like to groups. When I subtract groups, I like to change it to addition and push the negative through. It's just easier. So then I'm going to have a 7x squared. I'm going to get a -10x, and I'm going to get a 5. Okay. 10 is just a big FOIL, so x cubed minus 4x squared minus 5x plus 3x squared minus 12x minus 15. I just added like terms. So I get x cubed minus 1x squared plus 17x minus 15. 11, I did synthetic division. So here's my 5, -3, 2, 10, and 1. And of course, when I do synthetic division, I take the opposite of -1. I put positive 1. Bring down the first term, 5, and multiply. Add, I get 2, multiply, add, I get 4, multiply, I get 4, add, I get 14, multiply, and I get 14, add, I get 15. So I know it's not a factor, but my answer is a 5x cubed, 1 less power, 2x squared, 4x plus 14. With my remainder, I put 15 over what I divide by x minus 1. Not a factor. Okay, almost done. 12, I graph the function. I do know I can't divide by 0, so I have an asymptote at 1, and of course it's brought up 2 multiples of 12, so I did my 3 times 4, my 4 times 3, and I couldn't fit the rest. I do my -3 times -4, and my -4 times my -3, -2 and 6 or -6 are there, and so I got the graph. Domain is all real numbers except it cannot equal 1. Range is all real numbers that cannot equal 2. Okay. 13, I just want to review a little trig. So we did a little bit of lost signs because I have opposite sine of a over 12 equals sine of 75 over 15. I multiplied up the 12. I multiplied the 12. I took the sine inverse of that decimal. The last one, I've got side equals side, so I use the law of cosine. C squared equals adjacent squared plus adjacent squared plus 2 times the adjacent times adjacent cosine of the angle. I got this big number and I square rooted. So I got a 22.9. Okay, that's all I have. I went through it kind of quickly, but that's okay. You guys can then just, slow it down and pause it.